Are you looking to join Cycling Men of Leisure for one of our rides in 2025? We've got a few things on our schedule.
That's right. We'll be attending Big Bragg and also the Bourbon Country Burn.
Big Bragg is in Georgia and Bourbon Country Burn's in Kentucky. Both places are going to be absolutely beautiful. We're going to have teams for both of those events. If you're looking to join us on our team, just send us a message. We'll tell you what to do.
So come on out. It's going to be a good time.
Absolutely.
Well, it's time for Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure, the podcast for cyclists who understand that riding is not just about getting to the destination, but the experience along the way. Now, here are the original Cycling Men of Leisure, Adam and Michael.
This episode was recorded live at Bourbon Country Burn in Lexington, Kentucky. It will be a two-part episode. Please enjoy part 1 today, and in 2 weeks, please come back for part 2. Or wait a month and binge listen to both episodes. Thank you. Please enjoy. Well, good to be with you.
Happy to be with you again.
Here we are in person, live.
In person, live. And let's give a little teaser here of where we might be. I'll give some hints.
Okay.
3 days.
Ooh.
250 miles.
I'm out.
11 distilleries.
I'm back in.
I knew you would be.
I'm back in.
So, where are we at, Adam?
We are in Lexington, Kentucky at the Kentucky Horse Park.
And what are we doing here? Are we horse show?
Well, amazingly,
there's one going on right over there.
There is one, and hopefully we won't hear that. We heard them setting up here, but we are at the Bourbon Country Burn.
Awesome.
This is a cycling event for those individuals who not only like to ride bikes, but bourbon themed, going to distilleries. They bring them here. Tastings. We are going to be pedaling to some distilleries.
Yes. And basically what the event is, it's a 3-day event. It's a fully supported cycling tour of bourbon distilleries and also thoroughbred horse farms in the bourbon producing part of Kentucky.
Yeah, which, I mean, depending on anyone who listens to this from Kentucky, please, we do realize that it's not just Lexington. We know that there are many other areas of Kentucky that also produce bourbon. It's branching out more and more.
Absolutely.
But yes.
It's a traditional,
yeah.
bourbon producing area.
Well, I'm excited to be here. This was not planned for us. We had done all of our fall and winter planning. I'm not sure how any of the other cyclists do it, but you and I look at the map. Look at the map. We look at the calendar based upon being respectful to our respective wives and your family, of course. My cats are pretty okay if I go there. As long as they have food and water and sun, I mean, they're happy. But looking at our calendar, we knew that we were going to do a few of the rides. We did Georgia and Iowa, and this year we did Michigan, which was we went instead of doing east to west, we actually went from Lansing to Mackinac with Dalmac. But it was the interactions at different rides, such as Ragbri, that people kept telling us about the Bourbon Country Burn, and you and I had both heard about the ride before. It wasn't like we were blind to the idea, but it kind of spurred up that seed in your head, and we put water on it. And then after we talked to some of our followers on Facebook who said, "Oh my gosh, you guys, this is your target market. You should go." And here we are. And it looks like the camp is set up wonderfully. They have a place for bands. They have a place for fire pits. Looks like the VIP tent tasting, which we'll get into in a little bit. The tent looks really cool. Check-in was really simple. I mean,
super easy.
I mean, gave him my license, and I noticed that interesting enough, these rides are making us do that, where we have to have our driver's license to check in. I'm not sure what crazy other person would check in and say, "Yeah, I'm here to ride 250 miles in the hills of Kentucky," but Well, you and I did so, but gave us a free shirt. Gave us a free bag. It says Bourbon Country Burn on it, or ride bikes, drink bourbon. So,
Yes.
And some stickers and some different stuff. But I thought it was actually a nice welcome packet, and I'm not sure about what the hills of Kentucky have to offer yet, but I know that looking on the website, the routes ahead of time, looks like there's a lot of elevation out there. But I've actually never ridden in this area. I've never actually been to Lexington. I've been to Paducah, Kentucky when I was a kid. It was right across the river from where we were go shopping and stuff, but never been to Lexington. So this is my first interaction.
I've been through the area on a number of occasions. I've never spent any time here. It's just mostly been passing through on vacations and that type of thing. But it is beautiful. And saw some of the horse farms coming in, and oh my God, they're incredible.
I tell you what, I'm interested is the double fencing. I noticed that coming in where they have one fence and then right outside. I can only imagine that has to do with either the horse escaping one fence. I know the horses are so valuable that they don't get out the other one. I'm not sure if a car takes out one fence that the horse is still kept in. I know the horses are absolutely amazingly, I mean, they're beautiful so far what I've seen, and I know that very, 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 very valuable. So so tonight, what they're offering is a little trivia, a little dinner. But tomorrow and Saturday, dinner is actually included. So that's actually interesting that they give you like a little wooden token that says Bourbon Country Burn, and you go through the line and stuff. So never done it, but they tell me it's pretty simple.
Yeah, I'm assuming everything else here has been relatively easy. Now, I have done some research here. I have your answer to the double fences.
Okay, I'm ready.
According to the internet here, it provides a barrier along roads to protect against thrown out garbage, vehicles, or runaway horses.
That makes sense. I mean, if somebody decided to litter, then the horse, if a horse accidentally ate a piece of metal or a can or something like that I can think, unfortunately, and in my state, we have 10-cent deposit on the cans, and so most people don't throw their cans out. It still happens, don't get me wrong, but most people choose not to throw their cans out because they want their money back. But I imagine if a horse chewed on it, could cut its mouth or something like that. So that's interesting. I didn't realize that that's why they did it. It just looked so beautiful, and white picket fences for miles and miles driving in. So I wouldn't want to take care of that fence.
No.
So Bourbon Country Burn has many different options. I think it's important to mention that on the website that you can look at different routes. And so it has, I just want to be clear, it has something for everybody. So if you're looking for centuries, they offer a century. If you're looking for a shorter distance, they offer like a 17-mile trail ride just through the trail here from the camp. If you're looking to go to a distillery, they even have one that's only like 27 miles, I think, that goes actually to a distillery. So
yep.
I'm voting for that one. Just kidding. Just kidding. But definitely want to see some distilleries.
Yes, and you have the opportunity, like I said earlier, 11 different distilleries. I mean, some of those are big-name distilleries. Some of them are not names that probably people have heard of. Example, Bluegrass Distillery, West Sixth Brewery. So if you're not into the whiskey and the bourbon, you could always go to a brewery. Hatfield and Company, Bourbon 30, Midway Distilling, Castle and Key, Glens Creek, and Buffalo Trace, to name a few.
On behalf of Adam
and Michael,
we both want to say thank you
for your support.
Let's go back some. You said you would come here with not being interested in whiskey?
Whiskey? Yeah, well, they offer, a beer selection just in case.
I'm just kidding. I'm thinking to myself, I'm here for the whiskey, but I'm just kidding. Of course, people go. There's lots of people. We saw a lot of non-riders checking in, families and friends and stuff. So, a couple of those I'm interested in. I mean, for me, Buffalo Trace, I do have pretty large bourbon collection, and I have many Buffalo Trace products on the shelf, and so learning about whiskeys, which is a story that we can get into. I'm always curious how different people got into whiskeys. I mean, when I was growing up, my father or my grandfather said, "Oh, I'm gonna have some whiskey." And I just pictured like an old saloon. And the guy walks in off his horse, and he's like, "Give me some whiskey," and then he just slams like
some rock gut.
Yeah, just slams it, throws it down on the counter, and I mean that was my original envision of whiskey. And then of course, we went through the 70s and 80s of clear spirits and martinis and Miami Vice and
Zima.
Do they still make Zima? Yeah, I think they do. I think they do make Zima. Matter of fact, I was somewhere and I saw the Zima bottle, and I was kind of surprised. Going, "Oh yeah, I'm surprised." But yeah, you're right. Like Bartles and James. I just remember those commercials with the two old guys. But yeah, I mean, so I had this envision of what whiskey was and how what it was, and I swear I just pictured like the double saloon doors open up and like, "Give me your best whiskey." So I'm always interested of how people got into whiskey and what is, the flavors that people search for or look for in life. But definitely great to be here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what different products the distilleries offer. Because as you and I have been in many distilleries, they offer more than just whiskey. They have a rye or a bourbon or a vodka or gin or all kinds of different, distillation products, including some we've been to where they have even root beer.
Oh, yes.
So
yes, in fact, Buffalo Trace, I believe, produces a root beer.
That's what I hear. I'm excited to try that. So once we get over there, we'll have to see what kind of root beer they have. And one of the rules of the Bourbon Country Burn is they do say that they prefer you not to have drinks while out riding. They don't want you to go to a distillery and have drinks. And so I'm curious if they're just going to offer tastings, like like a small little communion glass, for going to church, or if they're just going to offer some. I'm sure they're going to have tastings at the distilleries. I just can't imagine that they wouldn't. So I think they just don't want you having a bunch of drinks, getting back on your bicycle and pedaling down the road. And fair point.
Pedaling off the road.
I was going to say fair point, Bourbon Country Burn, because neither do I. So I'll wait till I'm back at camp, and this looks like a beautiful place to have a drink later. So, so is there a distillery that you are excited to go and visit?
Well, Buffalo Trace, that's always top of every,
Sure.
pretty much every bourbon lover's list. But, Castle and Key is a good one. The one that actually is not on the list that we did go visit earlier today was Woodford Reserve. When we got in, we kind of met here at the campsite, and then we went over to Woodford Reserve, which was not on the biking route this year. It has been in the past. And that was a great experience. Loved it over there.
What they had told us upon check-in is, because we had made a joke and said, "Hey, we started early to another distillery," is how true it is, I don't know. But in the past, Woodford has asked to be part of the Bourbon Country Burn, but then I guess in the last couple of years they've said no, thank you, no, thank you. So you and I decided to come in town early, and unfortunately for us, the tours were all booked, but next year we're going to have to book that early.
Absolutely.
So, but that is a beautiful distillery. If you're traveling in this area and you're looking to go, they have on one side of the road, they have the distillery, production tour, the rick houses. You can just smell it when we were in the parking lot. It was just absolutely amazing to smell it. And beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gift shop and welcome center there. And then on the other side of the road, they have a very nice bar that you can go and
tasting room.
I feel bad. Tasting room. I was going to say bar is not appropriate.
No,
tasting room is much better. And they had, some of their very private items. I mean, very, very select collectible items that you could look at and purchase if you really wanted to purchase it. But I felt that some of those were a little out of my price range. So
Yeah, probably so.
I'm not even sure my palate would be able to appreciate that as much as my money would be going as far as. But we definitely had an old fashioned there. So
No, we did. And another thing I want to mention is in their gift shop, they will engrave your bottles with like a 3-line message and that type of thing. So we did participate in that.
We did. Road Adventures of Cycling Men of Leisure has not one, but 2 bottles of Woodford engraved, and you'll keep one at your place, and I'll keep one at mine.
Absolutely.
And if Road Adventures of Cycling Men of Leisure makes it 5 years, we'll crack one of those.
There you go. And if it doesn't, we'll still crack one of those.
Still crack one of those. Otherwise, people are not going to appreciate it as much as we will. So, what route are you looking forward to? You looking forward to the Century, 112 miles?
I don't think I'm going to do 120. Well, no, it's 106 miles or something. I don't think I'm going to be doing that. I generally like to do Century rides on new states just to add another state to my Century list. However, what I think my plans are, and I haven't spoken with you about those too much, that is the day that we're supposed to ride over to Buffalo Trace, and then we need to get back here in time for our VIP experiences, and we'll talk a little bit more about those in a couple minutes. But I'm thinking we drive over to Buffalo Trace, we get in line for whatever the daily allocation is, and then we come back and we ride one of the shorter rides. So we still get the ride in, but we get in line and are able, because what I hear is that it's Eagle Rare Day tomorrow.
Well,
and that's just hearsay. We never know, but a lot of people are betting that that's what they're going to be.
Yeah, they've got a prediction website, or you can go on and look at the predictions, and for a high percentage, they are correct. I'm okay with that. As far as VIP, isn't every day VIP for us? I mean,
well, of course it is, but we.
Everywhere I go, I expect rose petals, like Coming to America when you walk, down.
Throwing them out in front of you, red carpets, things like that.
So far, that's not working out, but that's all right. But, I'm fine with driving over there. We can definitely drive over there, and because I know usually the bottle releases are very early in the morning, and they're first come, first served basis. So, absolutely, then we can come back and put a ride in. I'm totally fine with that. Actually, what we should do is we should record a little spot over there, and then we can
absolutely.
Tell our subscribers, what it was, if it was Eagle Rare, and what the process is like, and our experience with the distillery. So these VIP experiences, I'm looking forward to those tonight. Well,
should be good.
Yeah. Actually, it's not tonight, is it? It's tomorrow night. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah, it is tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
got 2 nights of it. Tomorrow night is Maker's Mark, I believe,
yep,
and Lux Row.
Yep.
Tomorrow. So
okay. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to those. I mean, that was an interesting story of how we got those tickets. So if anyone doesn't realize,
but let's back up, because Maker's Mark is good and Lux Row is good, but the next night, Buffalo Trace.
Not only Buffalo Trace.
Exactly.
But Buffalo Trace with Freddie Johnson III. And if you ever watched the program Neat,
mm-hmm.
he is highlighted inside the program, and he definitely raises your hair on your arm. And when he tells this story, it brings a little tear to you if you have any kind of heart whatsoever. So I recommend watching the program Neat. Not paid by that by any means, but definitely watch it. But not only is it for Buffalo Trace, but then Phil Talks Whiskey has his own tasting. So I'm looking forward to that too. So
that's the Buffalo Trace. When we found out Freddie was going to be there, was we have to get tickets at least to that one. That was our driving force.
Absolutely. So,
but we're in Iowa on Ragbri, and if anybody's ever been in Iowa on Ragbri, you know that cell service, internet service, all that kind of stuff, it's pretty much non-existent or sketchy at best.
So I completely agree with you. Let's back up just for a second. So we sign up for the ride. Once we sign up for the ride, we figure out what pieces of the ride, what do they offer? Well, some rides just offer like a general admission. Here you go. Have a good day. Here at this ride, what they said is not only do we have these rides, but then we have these bourbon experiences, and we're going to offer 4 VIP experiences. And so I'm like, okay, well, so I reach out to you. I tell you about it. Well, lo and behold, you got to sign up on July 28th at like noon. And I'm like, July 28th? July 28th, we're going to be in Iowa at Ragbri. And yes, I have to agree with you 110%. I've many years I've been here in Iowa, and there's no way you get cell phone service. There's times where I go all day long and don't have cell phone service. So I'm thinking, how are we going to get on and book this? And so I thought, well, we're going to try to get into a certain town by a certain time, and we'll see if we can get internet access. And we had tried the town before, if you remember, and nothing. We couldn't get in. We would get like a small spotty signal. I would go to the website, hit refresh. It would work one time, but it most of the time wouldn't work. So then we got to, was that Marble Rock?
Marble Rock, Iowa.
And we first got into town, and they had advertised that they had Wi-Fi for the whole town. Like, we saw the cell phone booster up on the hill. Mm-hmm. And we thought, well, this is great. And I first logged in, and sure enough, I could see it. And then we saw the public library. It did not work. And
four other people showed up and then maxed it out. So.
Yeah. Then we went to the library and thought, sure, this will be a great idea. And as we took the turn to the library, you and myself and about 500 other people had the same idea to go to the library for internet, whatever they were doing. I don't know. And we were kind of panicking, thinking, oh, we weren't going to get these tickets. And in my job, we have public Wi-Fi. I work for a county government for our guests. And so I saw the fire station, and I thought, let's go down there. And so we walked down, and there was 2 Wi-Fis being broadcasted. And so we tried to log in. Both of them were password enabled. Now, where I work, we have a guest Wi-Fi you can just log into, and it's not the greatest, but it'll work out for you. And this guy said, what are you guys trying to do? So, oh, we're trying to get on the Wi-Fi. And he was an employee of the fire department. And he said, oh, well, we have a guest Wi-Fi. And I said, okay. And I said, can we just have the password for a little bit? And he said, yeah. And he said, I can't remember that. And then he said, here. He said, just log on to mine. So he gave us his Wi-Fi that is for all employees and firefighters and admin and everything else. And so he said, it's just going to be you using it? And I said, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I remember when you and I were booking, we were able to get our tickets when we felt like we were on, cloud 9 getting the VIP tickets. And so not only did we get the Buffalo Trace, which is what we really, really wanted, I said, well, we can get the others. And you said, forget it, let's do it. And so sure enough, here we had all 4. And as we closed our phones, we thanked them, went and bought lunch, and we went back because the shade was just perfect on the building. And we sat there and we just said, oh, we're so thankful. We're so thankful. I remember hearing another guy going, you guys have Wi-Fi? And him saying, no, I'm sorry, we're not allowed to give it out. So it just really pays to be nice to people. That's for sure. So yes, there we were in the middle of Iowa, and we were able to secure tickets. And so I'm really hoping that the experiences are worth the effort that we put into them. So
yes, because if we would have waited till we would have got to our end town, I guarantee the Buffalo Trace tickets would have been sold out.
With the Freddie picture, I guarantee you. I mean, that was the draw for me. I mean, I'm really looking forward to meeting him, seeing him. I have watched the program Neat with You. I have showed you with my love of whiskey and bourbon. I've showed it to other people. I've had my parents watch it. I didn't make it, of course, but it's just inspirational it's a wonderful educational piece about bourbon and whiskey and put together in a very professional manner. So are you looking forward to any meals tonight? Are you hoping that they have any meals here that you've read about? Or
well, I don't know anything about the food situation. I see the big tent over there, and they're ready to. It looks like they're set up. I mean, as far as where the tables are setting, I haven't heard too much about the food. I'm hoping it's good, but we'll see.
Well, it's a heck of a tent. So hope they
It's like
got
the
some.
circus has come to town.
That is definitely a big tent. So now they tell me there's going to be some tastings here. They're going to set up tents for tastings. And so I'm looking forward to that. I haven't seen any big names that I haven't looked, by the way. I just saw the tents. So
Well, they haven't put up the banners yet, so.
no.
Now, what we should do is we should stop our show here in a few minutes and then record a little segment after we've done the tasting so we can let people kind of know what the music and what the meal and what the tastings were all about.
I could definitely get behind that. So far, what is your impression of Bourbon Country Burn?
Well organized. The routes look like they're laid out well. So I'm sure the bourbon will be good. And so far I'm impressed, and I'm glad we're here, and I hope everything goes well and we're safe.
Well, I'm sure the bourbon will be good. I mean, it's been trapped in a barrel and a bottle, and oh, that's not your point. Sorry about that.
We're going to be rescuers.
Here we go. No, just kidding. So, I think you're right. What if we can end this segment and maybe pick it back up a little bit later this afternoon?
Sounds good.
All right.
Join us on our next podcast when the original Cycling Men of Leisure podcast live from the Buffalo Trace Distillery. Is there anything else, Adam?
Well, until then, it's a great day for a bike ride.
Indeed.
Thank you for coming along with Adam and Michael on Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure. If you have enjoyed this, please share the podcast or tell a friend about it.
Hey, we just wanted to remind you that we've got some really cool products at our jersey and our swag store.
That's right. You can visit cyclingmenofleisure.com. At the top of the page, you'll find our stores page. Click there. There's 2 QR codes. The one on the left has a J on it. That's the store for the jerseys. The one on the right is just a swag store. Has all kinds of different items. Kind of customizable. You can kind of make the swag the way you want it. If the QR codes are giving you an issue, don't worry. Underneath, there's 2 buttons that you can click on. Thank you, and have a great day.